Good morning, everyone, and welcome to April 9th, 2019, in our Regional Bits and Bytes webinar. We're excited to have you with us this morning as we review some of the topics that we have to share with you and discuss some of the new service options, support options, and projects that are going on across the region.
Okay, and let's go over the agenda. And for today, we have some EdLaw 2D updates. We have some new MORIC staff to introduce you to. We have updates on the NYSED tech plan, some regional events we wanted to highlight. We've got the NYSED and regional data updates from the data team. We have some new technology options to share with you. We also have computer-based testing updates and review of this past week. We've got some data security training updates as well as technical updates. And now I'll transfer over to Ryan Mahoney to talk a little bit about the EdLaw 2D updates.
We wanted to provide you an update as to where we are towards the adoption of regulations for Education Law 2D. As you can see here we have the timeline that we've kind of seen in some of our previous discussions. And right now we're in the beginning of April, which means the comment period on the regulations, the public comment period is closed at this point. So now the Chief Privacy Officer is taking all the comments that were kind of presented during that time and looking through all the feedback and seeing if any updates need to be made to the regulations before they're presented to the Board of Regents on May 6th. At that point, the Chief Privacy Officer will take any feedback and any adjustments to the regulations, work them all together, and then the Board of Regents is expected to vote for adoption on that May 6th meeting, and then any results from that meeting will then be made public. And then, as we expect, immediately following that meeting, we're going to see a job responsibilities kind of listing as to what the District Data Protection Officer is going to be tasked with. So we have kind of a general idea of what we're expecting, kind of overseeing the district implementation of 2D regulations, the implementation of the NIST cybersecurity framework, implementing district-wide training, and kind of all the other tasks that are kind of associated with that we've gone through in depth in some of our previous discussions. But now we'll expect to see a more formalized listing of what the responsibilities for this role should be. And then at the MORIC, how we expect to support the activities that the District Data Protection Officer will be tasked with will be providing regulation support materials, some more further breakdowns of the regulations themselves, some example contract language, some sample model policies, as well as some other resources and toolkits for data security best practices and implementing the NIST framework. Next, we'll be looking at the managed data security service that the MORIC offers, adjusting and kind of tweaking that service to better fit the needs of everything that's kind of listed in the regulations themselves, and seeing how we can better shape the service to serve the needs of our districts. And then finally, we're going to put together some target regional trainings for these data protection officers to support them in their roles, allow them to network with each other, and put together some best practices for implementing everything that kind of needs to get done as part of these towards the adoption of EdLaw 2D standards.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. And now I'm just going to introduce a couple new staff members that we have. So if you see them out and about, please welcome them to the region. One is familiar to everyone. It is Chad Hatch. Chad has recently moved from supporting School Tool, and he is now working on the data privacy and security team with Ryan and his staff. So you'll see him out at some of the upcoming trainings that we have scheduled and in some of the districts working on that. We also have Brian Toomey, who's new to the MORIC. He has joined the data team, so he'll be under the direction of Dan Molesky. So if you do see Brian out and about, just welcome him, and we'll be sure to let them know we introduced them today. And now I'm going to introduce Maria and John Henry to talk about the NYSED tech plan.
Good
Good morning, everyone. So we have two new things that are going on with the 2019-20 update with the NYSED technology plan. The first one is in terms of the portal itself being reopened. So there were a few districts, very few districts across the state who actually missed the deadline last fall, and they're not able to get approved for smart schools and some other pieces, so NYSED needed to open the portal a little bit earlier than usual. So if you have someone assigned to the portal to actually look in and review what forms are in there that need to be completed and the related deadlines to them, you will find out that that is reopened. There is not a need for you to go in and actually complete revisions on the annual update. It is completely optional, which means that even next year when the deadline approaches and someone reaches out to you, that the recommendation right now is to not revise your plan within the portal, just to go with your current 2018-20 plan itself, and to just leave it in there as is. If you want to update a document, the best one to do would be to update your local resource that you have that you're using for implementation. So in terms of the portal, it is reopened, but you can hold off on entering any new data in there.
And the second update is we'll have a regional user group on May 15th following our technology leadership meeting from 1 to 3. Based on some of the feedback we've received, we're going to focus our conversations around continuing to build momentum through our local technology committee meetings and make sure our technology plans align with any other instructional initiatives that are going on throughout our districts. So we hope to see you in the afternoon on the 15th.
As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address or to email one of us individually. Thank you.
Okay, and the next bit will be about some of our regional events that I wanted to highlight. We have quite a few events coming up. We have our April 22nd and 23rd. We are focusing on having a Family ID user group. So that will be held from 9 to 11 a.m. The 22nd up at Jeff Lubosi's in Conference Room A and B, and the 23rd down at Costello. On May 1st, we have a Naviance user group that is being held at Costello, and that is from 9 to 3. And on May 15th, we hope to see all of you at the Technology Leadership Meeting, so invitations for that will be sent soon. That will be from 9 to 1, and that is at the Second Technical Center. The next events we wanted to highlight really focus on our SysOp events. So Scott Murray and his team are there to prepare some events. They're about 3-hour sessions. So he does some down at our center at the campus conference room, and then some up at Jeff Lubosi's. So if you take a look at the events that are up on the screen, they are duplicated. So we start with April 25th with the 80 group policies. So Scott will work on some of the steps to take to configure those. And on the 26th, and that one, is down at Madison United BOCES. The 26th is imaging with MDT, and that is Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. So he'll work on that from 9 to noon up at Jeff Lubosi's, and then he repeats both of those at the opposite centers. So May 23rd at Madison United BOCES, the imaging with MDT will happen, and then the 24th, the AD group policies will be up at Jeff Lubosi's. So hopefully you'll be able to join some of those. And now I'm going to introduce the NYSED and regional data updates with Emily Blake-Toomey from our data team.
Hey everybody, Emily Blake-Toomey here with some updates from the local assessment desk. First item on the docket for this Bits and Bytes is going to be an ESSA timeline update. ESSA, the Every Student Succeeds Act, is in full swing across New York State. To bring you up to speed, in November of 2018, preliminary CSI and TSI designations were completed and target districts were identified. In December of 2018, appeals based on those preliminary designations were due to the New York State Education Department. And this past January, the New York State Education Department released individual district and school building ESSA accountability determinations. At this time, districts and buildings are now reviewing their data and communicating with stakeholders. We have 2 new products at the local assessment desk that will be live and ready for the 2019-2020 school year. The first is DESSA. It's our new social emotional learning assessment product. DESSA is designed to assess the SEL component that is now part of the new ESSA standards and adopted this past year for implementing for the next school year. The DESA will work similarly to our other local assessment products such as STAR and iReady as far as importing and assigned roles. Remember that social emotional well-being is one of the focus areas of ESSA. The other products that we are supporting are for the State Education Climate Survey. We have 2 vendors that will be supporting that survey, Linkit and EdVistas. Linkit uses tokens for their survey population, and those tokens will need to be mail merged into various mediums depending on your district. EdVistas offers URL links for different populations, which districts may choose to add to existing websites or school tool portals. Climate survey is another area of focus under ESSA. Renaissance and STAR will be upgrading its platform at the end of June and the beginning of July for all of our districts with Renaissance products. We will be hosting a user group on Thursday, May 16th at the Costello Center from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. This user group will not only discuss the front-end changes and the new features of the Renaissance upgrade, but will also be going over any back-end changes in regards to import and nightly sync options for our districts. It's a great user group that will be very interactive and proactive, so if you would like to join us, please sign up in My Learning Plan, and we will be sure to keep you up to date on all of those upgrades. Finally, we are developing a new resource for integration for the 1920 school year. We are calling it Your Passport to a Quick Import. This is going to be a new checklist process for integration preparation. These checklists will not only be individualized by product, but also by district. And we will be sending more details on how that will work and how these checklists will be sent out to you at the end of June and the beginning of July. As always, please feel free to send any questions or concerns or needs for clarification my way, either by phone call or by email, and have a great spring.
Okay, thanks, Emily. I am going to talk for a minute about some new technology options that we are providing here at the RIC, most recently, and then some that we'll look forward to after July 1st. First, I wanted to talk about Martha and I had come out for planning meetings and provided the regional standards document. We took some time to put that up on our website as well, along with some information on who to contact for what support area. So if you take a look at the slide and go to our website, and then under our services, if you click on the services and contacts, this document will be populated. And it just is a list of, the team, the service, whether the contract is 2D compliant, the software that's associated with it, and then who the team leader and support staff are. Again, that's right from our MORIC homepage, from our services and services and contacts. Along with that, we have some new services that we'll be highlighting for the next school year. Right now with SysCloud, we do have a contract in place, and we are working on service development here at the MORIC and hope to have that completed soon. We know a lot of you had spoken about interest of this at our planning meetings, so we've got a list of people. If you are interested in either SysCloud or Social Sentinel, which I'll talk about in just a minute, you can reach out to Martha or myself, and we'll definitely get some information to you when we have that readily available. So SysCloud is actually a cloud backup solution focusing really on the Google Suite, and that you can set your own backups based on your district needs and schedule those, and it helps to restore that data from the Google Suite. SysCloud also has some security monitoring, so this is a solution that will help to prevent bullying, violence, any self-harm, and it focuses on G Suite and Office 365. Like I said, we have some interest, we have some information from some of the districts that we have met with the planning meetings, so as soon as we get the service development completed, we will be reaching out with proposals on those for those that we are aware of. The next one is Social Sentinel. So right now we do not have a contract in place, but we are working on it in anticipation of that being completed July 1st. This is a social media security monitoring solution. So what Social Sentinel does is it scans social media for specific language and terms along with any image recognition, and it will then alert school administrators with potential threats or any cries for help so that someone can take action on those. Okay. Cylance is the antivirus industry leader. So Cylance is something that we are ready to move forward with and have with some districts so far and have had really good feedback on that. This is our new next-gen antivirus solution. So this will be replacing Viper, which Martha and I definitely talked about at the planning meetings. This solution does not rely on any definitions and will consistently prevent execution of malware and unauthorized scripts. It eliminates the need for hard disk scans, and it has a small network bandwidth footprint and uses very low CPU and memory usage. Deployment's going to begin for those districts that haven't had it deployed yet after we receive the signed contracts for 1920. So our staff will reach out to districts to schedule those. And if you have any questions in the meantime, please reach out to Dan Potter. Okay, and now I am going to look over to Dan Molesky for some NYSED computer-based testing updates.
Good morning. Wanted to update everybody on the state of computer-based testing as we wrap up ELA testing and look forward to math computer-based testing coming up next month. So as many of you certainly experienced personally, there were some service disruptions statewide and state-based computer-based testing on Tuesday, April 2nd. These were statewide disruptions. There's a number of news releases and things if you're looking for more particulars on those issues. NYSED had then also canceled testing on Wednesday and had restricted testing in a few grade levels across the state on Thursday and Friday. Our districts were certainly affected, as all of you know. NYSED has addressed the issues as best they're able to, and we're hoping that administration past this point into math will also be better, but we're certainly keeping an eye on testing moving forward to make sure that things go well in our region. As far as testing in our region, ELA is wrapping up now. Of the 20 or 25 buildings that we're testing ELA. Best I've been able to tell so far, we have probably 4 or 5 districts that are still testing some grade levels with makeup exams still going on into several other districts as well. Some locally reported issues that we've seen, a couple of districts have reported some Chromebook issues that we're working with Questar to address. We've also had some reports of score point issues as well that we're trying to address with Questar as well. So generally speaking, though, as far as locally reported issues, we have not heard of large-scale issues going on other than, of course, the outage on Tuesday. Finally, we'll be sending out a survey in the very near future looking for some information on how testing went for you, what the MORIC can do moving forward for math testing to make sure that we're here addressing your needs. So thank you very much.
Great, thanks, Dan. And thank you for all of your patience as we support that. Now I'm going to transfer over to Derek and Chris, and they are going to provide some information in regards to data security training and Know Before.
We're here today just to give everybody a brief update on our Know Before initiative happening here at the Mohawk Regional Information Center. At this point, most of our districts have completed their baseline campaigns, and from a regional perspective, we're at about 24.7% fish prone. When we compare that to the national standard for both the small and large school populations, you can see that we are below the national average, which is a good thing.
As you as a district begin to plan your data security and privacy policies and procedures, the central focus for any initiative should always be around your staff training. The Know Before platform allows you to deliver both your annual data security training as well as some more specified training that would be for either high-risk users or that might match up well within your district initiatives that you have locally.
And another thing that we wanted to share were some of the different training programs that we found in Know Before's mod store. And just to highlight some of those quickly, we have the Kevin Mitnick Security Awareness Training. So that's kind of our baseline training that we recommend for all of our districts. But some of the other ones that we found that we wanted to highlight was one that targeted specifically social engineering. and the red flags for staff members to look out for when they're going through their email when they think something looks suspicious. A couple of the other ones that we found were good for the education environment was one, definitely understanding and protecting PII, especially with EdLaw 2D looming. We want to take those steps so that our staff members understand how to use and manipulate that personally identifiable information. And then finally, we have a training dedicated directly to FERPA and the K-12 environment.
Finally, to support the initiative in the coming weeks, Derek and I are also going to be rolling out a few more tutorial videos within the Noble4 platform. The first one will be centered around the reporting, specifically for these training campaigns as they're rolling out. Where can you find them? What data does it show you? The second one will be based around the notification email templates for training campaigns, how they work within the program, what they look like, and how you may be able to customize them to meet your own district needs for your initiative. And finally, we're going to release a video that centers around certificates of completion for training campaigns. Once a staff member completes a campaign, they do have the ability to either print their own certificate, or as an administrator, you can go in, find them, and print them as well.
So that's all we have for a regional update. Are there any questions out there?
Okay, thank you guys. Now we'll hear from Dan Potter as he has some technical updates to present.
Hi, so today I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about the Microsoft end of life and the products that are coming close to end of life and moving forward over the next about year and a half. So first up is Microsoft SQL Server 2008 R2. That will be end of life as of July 9, 2019. If there was any impact to your district as far as student management systems or cafeteria systems, someone should have already reached out to you in regards to that. Next up is on January 14th, 2020, Windows 7 will be end of life. Exchange 2010 Server will be end of life, as well as Windows Server 2008 and 2008 R2 will be end of life on that date. So again, that will impact servers and clients due to the Windows 7 Professional being end of life at that date. Below you'll see a breakdown from the region as to where we stand in regards to moving over to Windows 10 as a region as a whole. You can see that Windows 10 only has about 29% of the users, and Windows 7 we're still running at about 69%. So we really want to make sure that we move all those clients over to Windows 7 this year during the summer before January rolls around, especially in the current landscape that we have. The security of your actual network is only going to be as good as the weakest link, and if you still have those Windows 7 machines out there that are going unpatched, it's going to be very easy to infiltrate your school network. Lastly on the list, coming in October 13th of 2020 will be Microsoft Office 2010 will then reach end of life. So any of you out there that are still running Office 2010, you may want to put that on your roadmap for this year to upgrade. Keep in mind that the Microsoft EES or A3 licensing will help you achieve both those goals with Windows 7 and 2010. So those of you who have that are clear to move forward as far as from a licensing perspective. So just keep in mind those are the dates, and have a good week.
Okay, thank you so much, Dan. If you have any questions about any of the information that Dan just shared, please feel free to reach out to him, or you can reach out to Martha and myself. And we just want to thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you all next month, and you enjoy the spring. Have a great day.